Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Andrea, the relationship coach, and if you haven't met Nadine already, then this is Nadine. And Nadine is one of my current clients. She's actually got her own videos up on my channel sharing her story. So today she's been grateful enough to come in because she wants to share some more of her story, go more in depth of her issues, her journey, how it's been, what therapy's been like, and what it's been like up until now, where she's at right now. So thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Always a pleasure, of course, always a pleasure. So to begin with, do you want to just let people know where you were at the beginning of our time together, what your issues were, and and that you had therapy before, of course. So
yeah, that's right. I was in therapy with someone that I just found online, and didn't come with any recommendation or anything, just someone who was local to where I was living at the time. And so I knew that there were things that I needed to deal with, you know, in general in my relationship that I was in with my ex, and with my family. They were the two big things. Well, the third big thing was with my body image and how I felt about like my physical appearance and that kind of thing. So these were things that I knew I wanted to address. So I went into therapy hoping for that, and after perhaps I was with that therapist for about 6 months, I think.
Yeah. And what therapy was it?
It was
Was it transactional analysis?
It was TA,
Right, okay.
It was, yeah. Wow, it just feels like such a long time ago. It's not fresh in my mind at all, yeah. So, and in fact things were getting worse.
Worse? How was that?
Yeah, my relationship with my ex wasn't improving, and although to a certain extent it was helpful to be able to talk to someone like outside of my family and outside of my relationship, it was nice to talk to someone and get some perspective on things. There were no real practical steps for improving the situation.
Right, okay.
Which is what I was really wanting, but I didn't know that that's what I wanted, so I didn't know how to ask for it. I just wanted what was on offer, really. So
you would talk about your stuff, and then what solution was provided?
Well, rather than a solution, the idea seemed to be that just talking about it and kind of deconstructing it and kind of getting it off my chest, that seemed to be the method.
Okay.
That was the solution to a certain degree.
Right.
Just say it, you know, and then go home.
Right.
And, you know, it does give you a little bit more awareness or some kind of release, or a little bit of relief or something from if there's, you know, a lot of intensity going on and kind of in a negative way. So it had that effect, but that was a very short-lived effect, and it wasn't enough, and definitely not enough to save the relationship.
And this was with your ex-boyfriend?
Yeah, my boyfriend at the time. And yeah, things just weren't getting better. There was also, I remember just towards the end of my time with this previous therapist.
And how many sessions did you have?
Over about 6 months, so it must have been about a good 15, I'd say.
Okay.
Just around the end of that time, when things were getting difficult with my working life as well. I didn't really know what I wanted from my job, and I didn't know how to really perform well in my role. And so I brought this issue to my therapist, and he became very kind of lost for words, or not really sure how to respond to what I was saying.
Okay.
And at the end, I can't remember exactly what he'd said, but what I felt from him was that, like, he was really not sure about, you know, has that help? Is that, you know,
no!
It was almost, I don't know, and I just felt like, I don't know.
I don't know, yeah, because you're coming there for help, so.
Yeah, so that's when I just felt like really crestfallen and just like, okay. So I I think I was still willing to see him, but then it was around that time when things were really getting bad. The relationship ended.
So
with my
things were
ex.
getting worse.
Worse and worse and worse and worse. Relationship ended. I was very sad, very kind of shriveled up and withdrawn, and so every other aspect of my life was suffering as a consequence of my relationship ending.
Yeah.
And that's when that's when you came into my life.
It's like magic.
Poof, fairy godmother appeared in my hour of need. That was the context at the time that I was introduced to your coaching.
Yeah. So, I mean, how we met, I didn't really know anything about your life, really. I just knew really about your name. But I just asked her, would you like to try something that the type of therapy that I do? I knew nothing about her history. I mean, absolutely nothing. So when I was telling her, she asked me what it was about, and explaining to do my main focus is on about relationships, male and female dynamics, about femininity and masculinity, about sexuality, orgasms, all kinds of things. Her eyes just went bing, and it was like, it was exactly what you were looking for. You didn't maybe perhaps even know it, but when I said it, it was like, yeah. I mean, it sounded like all the things that I was sorely missing, and didn't know how to create for myself in my life. I knew that I didn't have those things. I wasn't feeling fulfilled, or having a sense of direction, or feeling that I was a person of substance. I just felt very kind of wishy-washy and unsure. I was saying something that a habit that I was in was, and I don't know, not really being able to identify how I was really feeling about things, and just kind of, if I was kind of faced with a situation that was overwhelming for me, then I would just freeze and go blank and have no tools for like responding to things that were like, that were like confronting or challenging, so I knew that I was in a bad situation, but I just didn't know what wonderful things were possible for me. I didn't know, but you knew. I knew.
And that was it. I felt that you saw the bigger picture, and that's what I needed. I needed someone to see a bigger picture for me, because for my imagination at the time was so limited for what was possible for me, and like really being happy and having good relationships with the people in my life who matter to me. I wasn't able to see how to make those things right at all. So it was just having that, like knowing that you felt like, what I felt from you is that you're very confident about what was possible, the good things that were possible, and that drew me in a big way. Because
I found out that Nadine had therapy before, and so I explained to her one of the fundamental differences that I offer is that I give the therapy side of things plus action steps, practical steps to take in your life that comes out of the session. So it's not just me saying I'll do X, Y and Z, and that can come into it, but it's really about finding out what your needs are, what Nadine's needs were, what does she want to create in life, look at, okay, how can we get there, and what mental and what emotional issues are stopping her from getting there. Also to instill a belief system, because the biggest thing with Nadine, or one of the biggest things, which I know she doesn't mind me sharing, is that she couldn't see what was possible for her, which you just did touch on before. And so it was helping her to see that she could be happy, she could feel fulfilled, she could have an amazing relationship, she could have a great sex life, she could like herself. So therefore I saw my role, whenever she had any doubts about that, I saw my role as being like a foundation, a place that she could always come back to, a place that she could always trust, and then just think, okay, just trust, just take those steps, and just keep on carrying on. And so Nadine came for the first session, and so what was that like? Because it's something the type of therapy that I do is very different from what from what a lot of people have experienced. So that was your first session with me. What was like?
It was it was so different to with the previous therapist.
Yeah.
Even that it was just kind of in your home, which was kind of instantly brought a different feeling, like you're inside someone's home. And I sat down on a very comfortable chair. I think there was a cushion, like a cute fluffy cushion, and I think maybe even a few candles. I don't know what it was. There was just something very warm about the atmosphere. So and then other than that, everything else was very uncomfortable. All this stuff that I was feeling, we touched on a relationship with my parents and my body image. I think they're the two things that I remember very distinctly from that first session, and it was very hard for me to articulate how I was feeling about those things. And I think I was in that kind of mode of, it's everything's fine, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yes.
It's fine. It's fine,
that was kind of like a big shock, because I was asking you because I asked people just fill in a little bit of a questionnaire, just some information about them and their background, because I don't know you, of course. And so I do remember clearly you wrote, great, everything's great in my family, dad brilliant, mum brilliant, and I thought, okay, great.
Just a little bit of work then.
Yeah, just a little bit.
little did you know. Little did I know.
Yeah. And, so I'm listening, and I can listen to things where I think, well, something's not quite adding up to the story that she was presenting. And we all have a presenting story, we all have a persona, we all have an image. And I see that, and then I think, okay, well, what's underneath that then, if anything? And if everything's great, everything's great. But if it's not, the facade or the persona will come tumbling down. And then I do remember, I don't remember the specifics now, but I do remember you were fine, and then you just kind of like burst into tears.
Yeah.
And it was around your mum at that time.
I know that when I talk about things that are kind of that I do kind of gloss over in general, and then I only really think about it deeply on my own. To actually talk about things or start to acknowledge things that might not be completely fine with someone else, then it becomes like a very raw, this very kind of sensitive thing, and kind of like this delicate, this, and then the emotions come and that kind of thing. And that was actually, like, looking back, that's great, because now I know how good that is for me to be able to like tap into those things. But at the time, I wasn't used to it. Obviously, it was our very first session, so it was like it was almost like a very kind of uncomfortable feeling to touch on things that I wouldn't normally want to go there, and not with someone else, and not with someone that I was really meeting for the first time. So very like a bit of an emotional outburst.
So to get in touch with your emotions, you actually felt a little bit uncomfortable.
It was very uncomfortable, and that was an ongoing thing in our subsequent sessions. And I do remember that a lot of times, it was just really necessary to, even though it felt like, all I'm doing is sitting here and crying, or kind of, I'm trying to like reach for a feeling or something, to do with whatever we're talking about, and it's causing me to like shut down a little bit or go a bit blank or not really know what to say, and then I'm conscious of, am I wasting time? Is this you know, but now that we've gone through all those, you know, those many sessions of just really connecting to like how I feel like in myself. Oh wow. I mean, there's nothing like it. It's just so good. It's so good. It's so good. You know.
Because I think a lot of the I call it the sticky stuff, the messy stuff, the things at the bottom of the drawer that sometimes you'd rather keep there. And I remember very clearly, certainly at the beginning of our sessions, that we're going to have to open up Pandora's box and see what's there, because it's affecting your life anyway. And so let's shine some light on it. Let's work through it so it's no longer controlling you, which is what was happening. So then for Nadine and for anybody else who would come and see me, it's like it gives you a choice of how you would want your life to be, as opposed to be running on emotions that have come from the past, perhaps, that you're struggling with. And so the sessions can be often uncomfortable, but through that, you know, what would you say comes through that process in your own words?
Well, like you said just there, whether you address it or not, that stuff is going to be there. So better that you address it and feel the discomfort of going there and looking at those things, than for them just to control your life. So for me, I've trusted that because I know that's what you were telling me at the time, and so just went with it. And as a result, I would say that what really happened, and that was very distinct, was a kind of going from being quite prickly, maybe uptight, maybe. and perhaps coming across in like an aggressive way, like a defensive way, like a bit of kind of closed and like, you know, just always keeping an arm's length, an arm up.
People at distance.
Stay back, don't get too close. There's, you know, so this is what was the case for me, you know, at first. And so just by touching on those like sensitive points that really were, you know, it's uncomfortable, it's sticky, it's don't want to go there. Then I started to feel the softening up, you know, like feeling softer, feeling more, it's okay to share things, and it's okay to, you know, feel what I feel, and, you know, it's okay, like just more accepting, more relaxed, more kind of like just going with the flow of things and not trying to be controlling things, and keeping like a nicely packaged, you know, the way that I'm presenting myself, it's very carefully kind of choreographed and contrived and all that kind of thing. So just to be, this is how I feel, and that's fine, you know, that's okay. So I mean, huge. I mean, it's night and day difference, really. How I feel inside, and how I know that I'm now relating to like the world, and how I come across. I know that it's very different. very different.
And you can feel that as well, can't you? You can feel the difference.
Absolutely. And you know, something that I wasn't expecting was to, you know, because of holding things inside and letting it all kind of get very tightly wound and kind of festering away, and no light getting in there, no air getting in there with all those uncomfortable feelings and thoughts. This was causing me to have like a little bit of a kind of sensitive skin, you know.
And I didn't know anything about this. You never told me this.
It's kind of like a stress triggered kind of allergy or something. I don't know what it was, but I would physically feel some discomfort in my, not just emotional discomfort, but I knew that when I was very stressed, you know, I'd become like physically, I would feel it. And as a result of kind of the process of our sessions and over time, suddenly occurred to me, I don't feel physically, I don't feel that kind of uncomfortable, you know, feeling that I was having before. And so on such a like a physiological level, not just the emotional thing and the kind of psychological part, but like my physical body felt different.
Wow.
You know, was healing really. As a result of like dealing with my emotional life, my physical body felt better, much better.
Wow. And I never knew that either. It's nothing she ever shared with me about the problems that you're having with your skin through stress and so that, to me, that's just amazing. And it just goes to show what stress can do on the body, but that we don't realise half the time. And what about all the other areas that stress is causing that we can't think of, all the emotional anxiety, the mental anxiety. So again, that's just wonderful.